There's hot dog carts on every corner.
I thought we might take a drive. Have a little chat.
A chat? Buck, Fisk needs
The
me.
mayor is aware we're going to Albany.
Yo, Albany? Dude, you didn't say anything about Albany.
The other day in your office, you were asking about my background.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you were right. I was Regiment 22. When you were reading about my past, did you see anything about Helmand?
The mayonnaise?
No, Daniel, not the mayonnaise. Afghanistan. My squadron, and I imagine many others, were tasked with night raids that no man of fighting age would survive the night. But it was opium farmers, not insurgents. Apparently Her Majesty considered 14 fighting age.
Jesus Christ, what did you do?
What I was ordered to. That's my point.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve, still, always.
We're still us, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. We took a little bit of a slight vacation, but we are back. We are still covering Daredevil Born Again Season 2. And this is going to be a spoilerful podcast about episodes 5 and 6. Right now, we're recording this right now, April 28th on a Tuesday when episode 7 comes out. Yeah. But you'll get this before, the end of the week. And then by Saturday or something, Steve and I will record for episode 7 and we'll be up to date.
Then we'll finish the series out being on time.
Exactly.
And be able to go to the boys or whatever else. There's so much stuff coming up, man.
There is.
We are going to have a full summer between movies and TV shows and all different stuff. It's going to be a rockin' summer, I think. So
yeah, we'll talk about some stuff that's in the news. I just saw a trailer this weekend or this week that I really want to talk about in comic news. So, but for now, we're going to do Daredevil Born Again Season 2, episodes 5 and 6. Episode 5 entitled Grand Design, and episode 6 Requiem.
Yeah. So the synopsis for episode 5, the Grand Design, is the anti-vigilante. That's just a bad way to say that word.
That is.
I don't know where my brain is right now. The anti-vigilante task force intensifies the search for Daredevil and Bullseye.
We don't want to get canceled, everybody. Sorry.
No, please. I don't let my misspeak drive you away. And then Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 6, Requiem, which is Fisk's operation, is dealt an irrevocable blow, and the resistance spills over into the streets, not the sheets. Into the streets.
Yeah. And both very intense episodes. If you think about it.
I tell you what, I have to say the real critic, it's not a criticism. It's the, how they don't go together is episode 5 is so beautifully shot. Like there's so much in it that was just the way they filtered it and the way they did the flashbacks. And the guys on TV Podcast Industries talked about the fact that Disney specifically went back, and those are not cut scenes or deleted scenes from the Netflix series. Those are new scenes that they digitally recreated to look like the Daredevil Netflix series.
Yes. Matt's hair. If you look at Eldon Hansen's body too, because Eldon doesn't look like that now. Eldon, he's working out. He's got muscle. His face might be still roundish because of who he is. But if you ever meet him, the last time I saw him, which was about even 6-7 years ago, he was working out and he had muscle. I didn't even recognize him. Sean Clark was sitting next to him at a convention, and I'm like, and And Sean just looked at me, goes, "You gonna ask Eldon for an autograph?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, hi, Eldon." I was like, I didn't even recognize you.
It was to the point. The guys, like I said, the guys on TV podcast industries, like one of them said that for a moment, he thought these were cut scenes from
No, they're not.
the Netflix series, but they're not. They just shot them in a way, and we have the return of Wesley, who we haven't seen in so long since Karen shot him and killed him, and we'll talk about that in the next episode as well. But and getting to see Foggy again was great, and getting to see all that stuff. It was so. I'll be honest. Like I complained a lot the last time we recorded about Kristen Ritter not being in it yet. This episode really, I didn't even think about that. That didn't even cross my mind that we still don't have Jessica Jones. It didn't happen in this episode. Now, I mean, great news. We get her in the next one. So I'm all about it.
Spoilers, everybody, but we already knew that.
but yeah. So I was really, really, really impressed, especially on the second watch. And I almost was able to do a third watch of it. Because it's just so good. And the way they did the flashbacks and the way the the kind of almost dream sequences or flashbacks between Fisk and Vanessa. Yeah. And Michael Gandolfini, him and Buck. We'll talk about that whole thing.
Oh,
just
my God.
Everything about this, the writing, the acting, this episode, man, was, I mean, I can't say enough. It was just a great episode of TV, in my opinion. I want to watch it again.
It gave you the feels of Netflix Daredevil back again, both these episodes. And I'm not talking about the violence. The violence is always part of the action that goes on within it, but the drama based upon that.
The vibe, the
Deborah
acting.
Ann Wald and Charlie Cox do together in episode 6, what we get out of Fisk himself, he is like D'Onofrio pulls off a tour de France of how he acts. And you could tell the way he represents Fisk in this is very much what we got out of the Netflix show. He seems like the overgrown child that has to love everything till it dies or crush anything and then act out angry like a bitter child. Yeah. And it's so strange too. And on top of that, the consequences is always somebody getting really, really hurt or dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was, in fact, it's so strange to say it. I don't have a lot of notes for episode 5 because I was just so in awe of watching it. That's how for me, how good it was. And it really just left me awestruck. But, let's talk about the Buck and Daniel of it, because that's a present day. Now, of course, we do get some flashbacks where we get to see that Buck wasn't even involved in the Netflix show, but we get to see how in flashbacks how he was involved in Fisk and Kingpin's organization back then, for that long. And that's the only goofy, I will say, it did take me out of it a little bit. Him with that hat on and the goofy wig they had him wearing, you can definitely tell. I was just like, that is just the goofiest. Like, could they not have found a better way to show a younger Buck Chessman or whatever his name is, Buck whatever? Because I just, with that hat and that goofy hair, I was just like, seriously, this guy, I can't even. But it was great seeing him in the flashback scenes, but then also, like I said, him and Daniel
going to Albany in the car, and
such a callback to the Sopranos.
It was.
And I didn't even watch the
with
Sopranos.
Michael Gandolfini too in the driver's seat, and throughout the whole time within the conversation, you're feeling that Buck is going to take him somewhere to kill him.
Absolutely,
And then he goes into a Tractor Supply, gets a shovel and a sawzall. And then the look on Daniel's face is like, what?
Yeah. And then they just keep driving. And I just loved, I'm not gonna lie. I thought the whole time, the first time watching it, I was just like, he's taking Daniel out to, like, okay, I had two thoughts. The two thoughts I had were he's either taking Daniel out, he's gonna kill him and bury him, or it's BB in the trunk.
Oh
You know,
yeah, I
that was
forgot.
the other thing I was thinking that might be BB in the trunk. But up until the moment when they open the trunk and they do that iconic, which is it's a shot that so
It's
many
like a
shows have
Goodfellas
used.
shot.
It's a Goodfellas, Reservoir Dogs did it. There's so many movies that have done that iconic
Any
look into
mob
the trunk.
related one has
Yeah,
it.
look into the trunk shot. And you see him and Buck gives that shovel or saw. You've got to make a decision, shovel or saw. I was just like, oh my God, they're burying a body. And I guess I'm assuming I didn't get a good look at the body in the trunk. I'm assuming that was the first mate or the captain that Buck killed in the previous episode. Remember the one that
Correct.
was being taken to witness protection, and he killed the marshals, and then he killed
Yeah.
him as well. So I'm assuming that's the body they were disposing of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just everything about this episode, that scene stands out to me because, like I said, that whole car ride, I'm thinking Daniel's done. This is the end of Daniel. But nope, he's just in deeper now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
get to see how he claws himself out.
Yeah, I did like that scene. That was a very poignant scene in the episode that always stands out to me, and I remember that. Another one always stands out for me is Matt's devotion to helping Poindexter, never giving up, constantly dragging him to get him out of said situation. And in their conversation in between, so bitter and battling, and why
Yeah.
Poindexter is trying to explain why he's doing it. But then he mentions out of the blue Foggy's name, and then Matt just goes off on him, saying you're not allowed to speak his name. And
but
because
there's a
Matt
shift.
still has that issue with that.
But there's a shift this time in that Matt's not going to kill him, and in Matt to the point where Matt's not even going to leave him behind.
Yes.
Poindexter tells him to leave him behind, and Matt says, "Well, I can't save us both." But then he does come back and he manages to get them.
He does.
Get them
There's
out
a
of
moment
there,
of levity where he leaves Poindexter, has a flashback. We get that flashback, and then he comes back because he realizes something out of what Foggy had done for his friend that tormented him when he was young. And that story shows like the credibility of Foggy and who they were back then. They were just starting out as lawyers, and they had this little fund for their own, business and law firm.
And he gives the money to the guy to escape. And I love the misdirect in that we think, that we got the young Buck what's his last name? Chapman, whatever.
Chessman. Yeah, I think it's
something
Chessman.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay. We get the young Buck. I'll just say Buck. We get the young Buck, coming to the guy's door, pretending to be a delivery guy. But then when he opens the door, the guy's already gone. And so you get the misdirective. You think that Buck is going to kill this guy, but nope, the guy's escaped. He's taken the money. And I'm assuming we're probably not going to see that guy again. He made it to upstate New York to his brother's roofing company or whatever. I don't know what he's going to do. But I just thought that was great to get that understanding that gives us a what I'm searching for. It gives us a context of why Matt has had this shift in his thinking, to where from the first season, the first episode where he's throwing Poindexter, or the first episode where he's throwing Poindexter off a building
and almost killing him.
And almost killing him, to now not in the next episode, he's going to not let Karen Page kill Bullseye.
Yeah. There's a moment of contention at that point where she's on that rooftop ready, but with in this case a gun, trying to go after him, and he's trying to rationalize it. At one point, I think he does mention, "You're acting like Frank."
Yeah, and he tells her she's acting like Frank, and that's when they go through the whole morality idea of. Well, there'll be more of this in the next episode, but they get through the whole morality of what level of killing is wrong. Murder is wrong, but killing in self-defense. We'll talk more about that in the next episode.
But within this one, we had some good context of how Fisk was and how he met Vanessa. How he was told was it Buck that mentioned it in the car, saying to move some of the money that
I think it was Wesley. I think that was Wesley, because we get Wesley back. The guy that's the guy that Karen Page. This is an interesting thing that and again, I don't want to take all the credit for this, because TV Podcast Industries talked a lot, because they really loved the actor who played James James Wesley. They really liked that actor, and they talked a lot about the fact that he coming back for these flashback scenes, and it's Wesley, I believe, who he's the one who directs Fisk to the
launder
art,
that money into
to launder money through art. Yeah,
instead of like Bitcoin or whatever it was that they were talking about.
And we get the whole back to, again, the Netflix series, to get the whole rabbit in the snowstorm painting, to where she's hanging it up in the gallery, and the gallery director is saying, nobody's going to buy this. And she says, you get the right person, he'll pay even more. Correct. He'll pay 3 times what it's worth. And that's what she tells Fisk at the end. You way overpaid for that painting.
And she did mention that too, when he brings it up later in the episode, when she's in the bed. And then it kind of leads into how she affected him personally, and how she basically tames the beast. Now there is no taming that beast, because it ends at this point in the episode where she asked for something that she doesn't like. She asked for pineapple juice.
Yeah, pineapple juice.
And he goes, you said it makes your lips and mouth tingle.
Yeah.
You don't like it. And he demands it from the nurse, get me up pineapple juice and ice. And she has that, and then unfortunately we get the cutoff, which leads us into the next episode.
Well, and we get the flatlining. We hear the beeping and the flatlining. And the speculation. Again, I want to keep pumping up TV podcast industry to do such a great job of breaking down these episodes. There really was a lot of speculation in their podcast and from their feedback people that possibly she was allergic. She had some sort of allergy to,
and it contributed to her death.
And it contributed to her death. So I don't know. I just think it's something that happens with brain injuries, is people, change their tastes. They change their things change when you have a traumatic brain injury. Things happen to you, and unfortunately, Vanessa's not going to have the chance to
survive.
Survive. So, because again, we do go straight into the next episode where we find that she has died. Is there anything more before we get to episode 6? Is there anything more you got for episode 5?
There was only that inclination with BB and Daniel at that point, and about confronting her about using the information for the media about Vanessa while she was in the hospital, and confronting her about it, because he's still trying to fish out if she is stealing the content. He is still, in some ways, Daniel has a clue but doesn't want to say anything to Buck, because I think he doesn't want to get BB dead.
Right, exactly. And that's what you were saying. That's what leads right into episode 6, because this carries on into episode 6. So that was an interesting exchange in the hospital when he's talking to the one reporter on the phone who asks if she's alive, and he gets all mad at the guy. And then when BB asks if she's alive, he kind of starts to get mad, but then he realizes, and BB makes him realize, that's the only question everybody has. Everybody wants to know, is she alive or is she not?
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's very honest, but Daniel thinks deep down something is ulterior in that motive for her.
I think he knows, or he definitely suspects that she's the leak, that she's been getting the information from him, from his laptop, from their conversations, and he realizes, or he's realizing that he is the leak, that she's the direct link, but he's kind of the indirect link,
because it's his computer or it's coming out of his office.
Exactly. She's getting the information from him. So and again, that leads us right into episode 6, where at the very beginning we do get the confirmation that
Vanessa's gone,
that Vanessa has died, and the doctor is there. I tell you what, it was a total surprise to me when he picked up, when they're hugging and he picks that guy up and just crushes him.
I knew it right away what was going to happen. It was so brutal, and I knew that's what Fisk does, because we've seen what he's done when he gets rageful or even extremely overtly emotional. He kind of lashes out, very much like that one time where he busted somebody's head, crushed it with a door.
Very, very similar. Yeah.
So, and then the the doctor had said some words that were very interesting. I don't have the quote, but the way he explained it about death and everything else, it was very heartfelt, but you could tell Fisk was not in the mindset to
Yeah.
listen and just was lashing out of grief because he didn't want to hear it from somebody else. And oddly enough, as he leaves and walks out the door, Buck is going in to clean up the mess, as always.
That's exactly what I have in my notes. Buck goes to clean up the mess. That's Buck's. That's become Buck's job, as he's cleaning up the mess after his boss. So yeah, and that's great because he says the same thing. He basically says the same thing to Daniel later on at the party. He says, "Daniel, you're now in the inner circle. What we did." Disposing of that body last night, you're now in it. You're completely in it. You are. There's no turning back now.
Correct.
And that's when he gives him the recommendation. He gives him the barium test that he calls it a barium test to give BB, to give her some false information to find out if she's the one that's leaking the information. And did you catch? I didn't completely understand what went on there, because it looks like she's texting somebody, telling them that Fisk is not going to run. But then before she hits send, it looks like she backs off and deletes it.
Yes.
Okay. So she didn't send it out. So in effect, what we might see in the next episode, in episode 7, we might see that Daniel might have the opportunity to now come to Buck and go, well, see, it's not BB because she didn't tell anybody about, or maybe BB will give away that Fisk is not running in her BB in that what is it? The Fear the City of Fear broadcast, maybe they, so I don't know.
Mayor Kingpin speech that she does with it.
So I don't know if this mole test is gonna end up working or not. But we'll see. I'll be interested to see in the next episode what we get from that. If Buck gets his evidence, because that's what he because Daniel said, well, no, I don't need evidence because I know in my gut that she's not the leak. And Buck says, well, I need evidence, and the mayor needs hard evidence that she's not the mole. So so we'll see where that goes.
And it was interesting because the way she kind of pressured him to take her to his mom's house in Staten Island for his birthday from the funeral and tries to celebrate with it. He senses the manipulation within it when she was trying to show him some sort of affection. Yeah. And then he's like, well, give me your phone. And he didn't see anything on the phone. So it was kind of a confirmation of him saying, oh, yeah, okay, but are you, he still thinks she's the leak. He's getting manipulated because of his affections for her. And
so that's why I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out between him and Buck in the next episode. If it does. So,
but then it kind of, like, in the very beginning after Fisk's thing, we get a shot inside of a house.
We get the return of Jessica Jones. It's amazing. As soon as I saw those legs, I was just like, "That's Jessica Jones."
Yeah,
I hate to say it, like, as soon as I saw those legs and that rear end, I was like, "That's Christian Ritter and as Jessica Jones." I said, "I don't know who this kid is, but she's going outside to do some damage." Yeah, that's what we find out is Danielle, her daughter, and we also find out that, and maybe you can help me out with this. This is something similar from the comics. We find out that after she gave birth to her daughter, who we don't know who the father is yet.
We do.
That her parents. Well, I mean, we know who it probably is. It just hasn't confirmed it. I mean, the girl's complexion, and I mean, Kristen Ritter is very white, and
she's
Luke
like
Cage is and she's definitely a dark skin. So I mean, I don't want to spoil anything speculation, but
it's in the comics too, everybody. So you could go read a comic.
But is it in the comics that her powers are kind of on the fritz after
they do go on the fritz from time to time? It didn't really happen for a long period of time in the comics, but she had moments of, because of childbirth and everything else, that it took a lot out of her. So it's probably a combination of both him and her at the same time.
So we'll have to see how that plays out here in the future, or what they're going to do with that going forward. And I do say this is another moment that did kind of take me out of it a little bit, is in the episode is what kind of grenade? I don't care.
I
Gas,
know it had a
flash, or
timer
other-
going down on it.
I mean, every other grenade we've seen is like 3 seconds, and that thing is popping off. Like it comes through a window and it pops off, and she's like holding it and running through the house. 10,
Like,
12.
honey, you can't have this, and she just turns it off.
The second time I was counting the beeps, and I think it got up to like 10 or 11, 12 beeps, and I'm like, that's like 12 seconds.
Yeah,
that this girl has had this grenade and he hasn't blown up yet. What the heck? So I get it for the story. They had to make it exciting, but at the same time, I'm like going, come on. If you're going to have them throw a grenade, why would they only throw one grenade? And
very true.
So that was the only part of the episode that kind of took me out of it in both watches, but it was so cute to see her daughter and then to hear her talk about the daughter later on.
Yes,
with
to Matt when they were on the rooftop. A lot of stuff came out of that rooftop conversation, which is really, really cool because it mentions Mr. Charles.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation that he's working with government and he was running guns through Fisk and that organization, and through that they had some sort of eyeballing for people of superpowers directly from the government, particularly, right. And that's why the AVTF was created, and it's kind of very similar to what we saw within the Thunderbolts with somebody else we know that was in Seinfeld. That
yeah. So we'll have to see if she's going to. So I don't know, and because she does say that it wasn't the task force that because remember Matt says, well, that wherever she was living, because we don't know where her house was.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell.
Outside of their jurisdiction. So I don't know if she was in New Jersey or
somewhere else, New York. Who knows? She could be upstate. Who knows? Wherever she was
he says was out of their jurisdiction. She says, well, no, it wasn't the task force. It was this Mr. Charles sending these guys to get me. So this was some other U.S. government team that was coming in. So I don't know. Like you said, I think there's definitely some thought towards the Thunderbolts especially when she says, well, people with like us, they're targeting people like us, and not everybody is keeping their mouth shut. So I don't know. We'll have to see going forward. I think from the trailers, and I don't think this is a spoiler. It's kind of a spoiler, but I think from the trailers we know we're going to get her in more than just this episode 6. She's going to definitely be in at least one more episode, if not the rest of this series, and maybe even into season 3 from what we've heard from casting and from
what I've seen on lines from filming and Instagram. They are filming in New York. She is there. I saw some other things we're not going to get into later.
Yeah, so I don't want to get any spoilers out for people, but we're fairly certain she's going to be involved in the rest of the season and in season 3 for sure. So hopefully we get some more, because we love Kristen Ritter. We love this character, and it's great to see her on our screen again.
I love how Matt kind of goes, "Oh, you broke a rib or something?"
Yeah, he can hear from her breathing. Yeah. And then that fight when they're in the warehouse was
she
great.
Punches the guy and hurts her hand.
Yeah. And then Matt saves her because the guy's like, "Oh, I'm going to enjoy this," or whatever he's going to do. He throws his rifle down, and but then Matt stops him, and that was another thing. It was a little not hokey, but a little. I had to put my suspenders of disbelief on, because everybody got out of that warehouse alive.
Pretty much,
apparently, before all the stuff blew up. A little bit, because they're dragging guys out. He's dragging Kristen.
Yeah.
He's dragging Jessica Jones out. So I'm a little like, okay, come on, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll let them have that because they blew up all the guns, and now the guns are no more. That is no longer. I love the shot of when the truck is pulling into the warehouse and you see Matt cock his head and he can hear the watch. And they show us the watch in that box. So we confirm that, yes, these are the same guns that were on the Northern Star going all the way back to episode 1. Was really cool to see that.
And the action sequences within it were really good. I loved how they choreographed the fight sequences itself. You got Kristen just like grabbing a looked like a metal hinged door or cover,
Yeah,
and
using
then
it as
using that
a
to
bulletproof.
but
Yeah,
you can see that she is trying to protect herself because she's not invulnerable to bullets, I don't think. Or with
yeah,
her
yeah.
condition,
Or
she
she with her
probably
condition,
can.
she doesn't know. Yeah, she doesn't know from one time to the from one moment to the next
Yeah.
if that bullet is going to hit her. You know, like just like she was punching that guy, and like you said, she hurt her hand when she punched that guy, and so suddenly her powers went away, but then they came back. You know, so
Kind of
yeah,
like how
it's
Luke Cage at one point, he was brought into the hospital and she had to take him there and they had to do something. And what was it? Rosario Dawson at the time as being a nurse, she had to go through the eye because that was the only thing
oh
that
yeah, that was
was.
when they could penetrate to give him the medicine that he needed. To
Yep.
yeah, I don't remember all the specifics, but yeah, that was pretty intense. So yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll have to see because I don't think she has the same level of invulnerability. She has some level of invulnerability, but like you said, with her powers on the fritz, she doesn't know when they're not going to be when it's not
Yeah.
going to
She
be
could
there.
have a bullet
So
penetrate her. And at that point, she's got to take
right,
care of it in some way.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, but that fight scene was really really cool. Um, let's see what else. Oh, I loved we finally see we kind of talked about this a little bit in episode 5.
Mhm.
We finally have Karen admitting that she hated that she had to kill Wesley,
Yeah.
but she doesn't regret it because it was in self-defense. And
Mhm.
so I thought that was interesting that she's trying to find this line of, you know, because that's what she tells Daredevil. She says, well, what if it comes down to either you or Fisk, that you have no choice, you know, that it's either you or him. What are you going to decide? And even Daredevil can't say, I don't know. I don't know what he'll do.
Yeah.
But then when she's, like you said before, when she's pointing the gun and she's going to murder Bullseye, Daredevil won't let her do that. He said, I'm not
Mhm.
going to let you cross that line of
Yeah.
murder. Like it's one thing to kill someone in self-defense when they're trying to kill you, but it's a whole other thing to have Bullseye tied down to a bed and put a gun to his head and pull the trigger. That's
Yeah.
a
And
little
then
dark.
Poindexter himself has a conversation with Karen after Matt leaves too. And it's him trying to explain his situation and justifying. And he was just like, well, just do it. He's
Yeah,
ready to
yeah.
give up
He's
because
ready to die. Yeah.
he was just like, just do it already. He
Mhm.
goes, I've absolved from my sins already because of what I've done for the right thing. And she's just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and it's like that's more of like the Frank, I have to do this now,
Right.
Castle
Yeah.
way of
Yeah.
doing things.
Yeah.
But we
That's
haven't
the
even
moment.
seen Frank. We've only
No,
heard.
we haven't seen Frank yet. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get Frank Castle in this series. I don't think we are, but
No,
you never
me
know.
neither.
Like I said, we definitely have seen him in the trailer for Spider-Man,
Brand new day.
Brand New Day. Thank you,
And then he
Spider-Man,
has
Brand New
his
Day,
mini
and then he
movie
has his
after
yeah. After
Daredevil Born
Daredevil
Again comes out.
finishes May 5th, May 12th, or whatever it is, he's gonna have a his one last kill come out. So we'll
Spotlight
have to
movie.
see
Yeah.
how that pulls out. So yeah, it was just great to see her admitting that to Matt and coming up with that understanding of, hey, there might be a moment when you have no choice.
Mm.
And then what are you going to do when that happens?
The
What else? Let's
protests
see. The protest outside. Yeah, that was
out of
interesting.
City Hall because
Yeah.
a lot of them had Daredevil cowls on their head.
Cows.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
they
like Swordsman said, that you become an icon. You're no longer just a vigilante. You're now an icon.
yep.
So
And they have testimonials from people that were saved by Swordsman and Daredevil on
Mhm.
a building that was being projected on there. All those people that were saved and how the AVTF were led to take these people, and they weren't vigilantes, but they were just pointed out specifically. So that's when the AVTF comes in. We get Powell shooting one of his own men.
Saunders, that was the guy. That was, remember we talked about this. The guy from episode 3,
Yeah.
the one who gives Karen his card, and Daredevil uses that card to get into Red Hook, so that
Yes.
he can set the prisoners free. So I thought that was a great callback, because we talked about that. I was like, I wonder if this guy, we're going to see something about this guy again, because he's given up his card. You know, what's gonna happen? And then, did you catch the Godfather reference?
A little bit. I forgot the exact.
Pal calls him an effing Fredo.
Yep.
He says he calls him a Fredo. He says because Fredo was the one in The Godfather who, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen a movie from 50 years ago, Fredo, one of Michael Corleone's brothers, betrayed him to the FBI, and Michael has him killed. So, and he kisses him. He gives him the kiss of death.
The kiss of death.
Yeah. Point. Yeah. So it's a classic scene. That classic scene with Diane Keaton, where Al Pacino says, "I'll let you ask me one question about the business," and then he lies to her about killing Fredo. So, yeah, and great movie, The Godfather. Great movie. You gotta watch it. That's if you have not seen The Godfather, shame on you.
It's a classic.
Don't worry about part 3. Godfather 1, Godfather, and Godfather Part 2. Just stop there. Don't go to part 3.
Nobody watches part 3.
Yeah, you don't. Sophia Coppola as a baby or playing a male baby. Just you don't need to watch that. So, anyway, on another topic, we see Dr. Glenn, Heather Glenn with Buck.
She shows up. Yep,
and she's still struggling with her PTSD over Muse, and they have a little. They don't have sex, but it's a very psychosexual kind of
conversation,
therapy session.
Yeah,
I don't know what to call it exactly. Where he asks her to choke him, choke me like Muse choked you. I'm a little like, okay, guy, this is a little weird, but
it is a little strange.
So we'll see how that relationship blossoms in the future episodes. But yeah, that was an interesting moment.
We get Mr. Charles calling Mr. Fisk himself, and all pissed off. And this is before Matt shows up as Daredevil to confront Fisk, but you could see the frustration in Mr. Charles at that point. It's like, who's he going to call in next from his government help to deal with Fisk? Because we already know Fisk is a one and done mayor.
Well, but that's what we see. What we see is Mr. Charles then go to see the governor. And that's when the governor calls and Fisk finds out. That's what that phone call is, that he finds out that that the governor is pulling her support. Now, I don't know if that means she's going to cancel the Red Hook charter. Because remember, that was the whole thing several episodes ago where they were talking about only the governor can cancel that Red Hook charter or whatever it was, of making it a free port. Yep. So that would definitely derail some of Kingpin's, machinations there.
Then Mr. Charles actually visits the governor at a certain point too in this episode as well, and they have a rapport. So he must have been in cahoots with the governor for a while because he loves the scotch that he gave her.
Yeah, we get the impression that he and some other people that he represents. Kind of put the governor in place, because remember he tells her, well, the little fish don't tell the sharks who to eat or how to swim or whatever, however he says it. Yep. So he's definitely got some sort of hold over the governor, and so we'll have to see how that's going to work. Which that goes back to the beginning of the episode when the lieutenant governor is talking about that she's not going to run again, and that she's going to give her support to him, and Buck Chapman and Chessman, whatever his last name is saying, well, I don't know if she's actually going to do that. So, again, the political game that's being played here is interesting. That we're going to have to see how that continues on.
Yeah, this is more than regular Marvel power play that we see in the cinematic universe with everything supernatural and superpowered. This is more realistic, and this is why this is a street-worthy hero crime drama, as I call it, because that's what these are. At one point, Spider-Man in the comics was like this too, along with Daredevil, and they fought side by side. There's also teasers coming out that we might see Charlie Cox in Brand New Day as well.
Oh, okay. I haven't
which
seen
would
that yet,
be
so
interesting.
That's exciting. So very cool. Very cool.
But the fact that we're getting more street level New York based, like the New York City based characters like that, Jessica Jones, you got Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Daredevil, the Defenders, basically, that we got. I'm hoping for a full Defenders reunion at some point and get those all together. It'd be nice, but we'll see what happens. We already
We'll have
got
to see.
semi
Yeah.
reunion with Jessica Jones and Matt.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's a lot going into season 3. We'll have to see how exciting that is, and that was something else the TV podcast industries had mentioned, that the creators of this have talked about that, the fact they're already filming, or they're writing season 3, or they're filming it. I think
They're filming.
they're filming it. They're filming season 3 now, but Disney has not greenlit a season 4 yet. So people really need to watch this show, download it, stream it, watch it again, do all the things that you need to do to give this show the hype, so that Disney will give us at least a season 4 for it. That would be great. We haven't, we've only gotten what extra seasons. Loki was the only other show. Well, What If, I guess, kind of was animated, but the only live action show from Disney that we've gotten an extra season of is Daredevil and the one I just said, Loki. So
yeah, Loki had a season 2.
Yeah, and some people, I mean, you can kind of say that Agatha All Along was kind of a WandaVision season 2, and that
It was
Vision
a spinoff.
Quest.
Yeah.
Vision Quest might kind of be a season 3, but still, like you said, those are spinoffs. Those are not direct seasons. So I would love to get more seasons of Daredevil Born Again. So hopefully we'll get that.
Well,
happening.
there is talks that we will get a She-Hulk Attorney at Law season 2, possibly.
I've been seeing those. We'll see how that plays out.
We'll see how that pans out in the near future.
We haven't
got
talked
so
about
much more.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Daredevil versus Kingpin fight.
Yes, that was the ultimate battle at the very end. This is where Fisk, he literally turns into the Fisk we know from the comics, but this is more of a adult version in a live action show where he just beats and barrels down on Matt as Daredevil. And Matt's trying to reason with him and saying, hey, well, why don't we just both leave New York at this point?
Yeah, I caught that on the second watch. I caught that because I was starting to see that, wait, Daredevil is actually trying to do what he told Karen Page. He doesn't, Karen says he's going to have to kill Kingpin because they're going to fight, but he's wanting to not do that. He said, I don't want this to come to a point where we have to kill each other. And so again, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. I know in the comics, Kingpin, it's very rare for the comics to kill off a major villain like this. I mean, how long has the Joker, I mean, that's DC, but how long have the Joker and Batman been fighting that those guys are, so but it would be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how these fights play out in the rest of the season, and then going into season 3. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. But that other battle that we get with Fisk and Matt was very brutal, very hard. Something even more visceral than the boxing match that Fisk had. And Matt was throwing in his canes and hooks and everything at that point. And there's a point where he gets him up against a wall and he's beating him. Actually, the thing that sparks Fisk to go after Matt is him saying Vanessa. He mentions Foggy first, then he goes into Vanessa of people that we lost. And as soon as he mentions Vanessa, that's when Wilson Fisk just goes nuts and just starts attacking without any mercy onto Matt.
Yeah. Oh, and then of course the ending, the
with Javi.
No, with Karen.
Oh yes.
What's the word I'm searching for? The suspenseful ending. It's not suspenseful. Is not the word I'm searching for though. That's going to lead us into episodes. Cliffhanger. Thank you. Why I just brain farted on the word cliffhanger? The cliffhanger
because she's there in the middle of the protest, and then some of the people that she's helping, she gets the wig taken off. Powell sees her. And oh my God, they could arrest her. And then Javi's on the floor and he's still breathing, but he needs help. But they're trying to deny them the help that they need from the attack.
Yeah, so protest. We'll see how that's gonna end up. Is Matt gonna make it out in time? Is he gonna be healthy enough to save Karen Page? Is she going to jail? I don't know. It's the next couple episodes. I think we've only got 8 episodes in this one, so there's only 2 episodes left.
I'm hoping for Frank Castle at the very end, showing up at the very end.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I only have a couple of quotes that I just pulled out in this my second watch that I thought was really kind of cool. Was again, we talked about that rooftop scene between Jessica and Matt where she says, "So do you want to cause a little trouble?"
Yeah,
I just thought that was great. And then when Buck is talking to the lieutenant governor, and he tells the lieutenant governor about how, well, in my country, the woman stays in power until the man dies or something like that.
Yep.
And the lieutenant governor says, "Yeah, where you're from, spotted dick is a dessert."
Yep.
So
I got that one too. I was going to say that, but you got it. Yep. But you like spotted dick.
Yeah, that's the only two that I have. That's all I have for these episodes.
Oh, the only thing I got one quote out of it, and that's just Matt stating to Karen before he leaves her with Poindexter, and before she has her little conversation with Poindexter, and he looks at her and he goes, "Vengeance isn't justice, Karen," and literally blatantly flat out. Literally, it's the truth. It isn't.
Yeah.
But she is so determined because we've seen a change between both of them. And I think with a lot of TV lately, it's been like that. I mentioned that in Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, not to point out another podcast I do, but on Kaiju Cast, I mentioned that for a couple of characters that we've grown to like after 2 seasons. And they kind of did a switcheroo on their take. Same thing with Karen and Matt at this point, because at one point Matt was on that I need vengeance against this, and then Karen was trying to be the disciplinarian of saying, "Hey, don't do that. That's the wrong thing." And then it's like the shoe's on the other foot at this point. And it's an interesting take because they flip-flopped, and now you're seeing it from a different perspective, but now the drama in between, they could grasp that and they could come to their own conclusion. Hopefully they both work it out. And that's the whole point.
I think so. That's great. So,
but yeah, that was about it for me and my thoughts on the episode. I did really enjoy both of them. They all had key moments, something that keeps you attracted to the show and keep watching. They did work together perfectly, flowing in from episode 5 to 6 at this point. So we'll see what happens with episode 7. We'll get to that when we hopefully record this Saturday or so, and we'll have a fun time doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mentioned before we try to end this or come to a conclusion or end, we were talking comic news. There's a lot of things that are coming out. I got to see the trailer because I do home theater installations, people, and I get to watch it in their new home theater. So I put on YouTube and I looked at Spider-Man Noir.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I did not see the trailer for it, but I saw that it came out. So yeah,
it's pretty cool. You get to see really, it's a different take. The color scheme is awesome because it looks like that classic bright colors that they do, but they're also showing it in black and white as well. And the one that I saw was the bright colors, like the true crisp format, kind of like how the Wizard of Oz is and how clear and colorful that is. It's very similar to that because it's in the 30s that this is based after. Nick Cage looks great in it. There's some comedic value to it. We do get to see Tombstone as he walks in. We get a Tombstone cameo, so we know we're getting him. We get Sandman.
Oh, wow.
Somebody that looks like Electro that's in it too. Okay. So we got a couple of villains in there, but it's kind of rooted in detective based. Think of Batman if he was Spider-Man. So he's just wearing a black mask with a trench coat and a hat. Yeah. So I always think of Rorschach from The Watchmen, but as Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'm excited, but this one's coming out in May, I believe, right? The end of May or something like that.
Yeah. So it's coming out soon. So I would just like to cover it as a whole, just because it'd probably be best to do it that way, because I would probably binge watch the whole thing and then call it a day. And then
and we're getting into the summer, we're getting crunch time, and I'll be doing some traveling. End of May, beginning of June, the first week of June, I'll be doing some traveling of my own. So, and then I've got summer plans. So hopefully we'll get some things done. We'll get to the boys. We'll get to Supergirl when it comes out.
Yep.
We'll Spider-Man Noir. We'll get
Brand New Day.
Brand New Day. All these things when they're we'll get them as soon as we can, listeners. So be ready, be watching for those feedback posts that Mark puts out. By the way, Mark, you're doing a great job putting out feedback posts, putting out reminders. I am a horrible person about promoting the podcast. Right. So I appreciate all that Mark does in editing and promoting the podcast.
Well, this is a labor of love for me and you, and this is what we just do for fun. We don't make any money, everybody. We just like to talk about this. And it's like how I always said, it's like I do it for fun. And once it stops being fun, I won't do it anymore.
That's the way it should go. Once it stops being fun, you stop doing it. So,
but that's like, it's like you go to the doctor. It hurts when I do this, so don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah, exactly. So,
okay. Right. Well, podcast recommendations. Obviously, you mentioned TV podcast industries. We highly recommend them. We can't recommend them more than enough.
Yeah. I can't praise those guys enough. They do. John, Derek, and Chris do such a great job. They're covering so many different shows right now. They are covering The Boys. They are covering Daredevil Born Again, and they're even covering Invincible. So they're John. I think it's John and Chris are doing Invincible, or Derek and Chris are doing it. I don't know. I haven't listened to the Invincible one yet, but they pass those around, and Derek does a great job of editing and doing all the other things for it. So show those guys some love over at TV Podcast Industries.
Yeah, and just like all our other friends out there, you go to podcastica.com, check out all the shows that are on podcastica.com. So you got Run for Your Lives. They're still going strong. I'm not sure if Strange Indeed are doing the new Stranger Things animated yet. I don't know if they're going to. I haven't heard from Rima yet.
On my feed. You haven't seen anything on my feed from Strange Indeed. They're definitely covering Severance on Wax Episodic. They're doing the Walking Dead rewatch on The Cast of Us.
Yep.
I just saw a trailer. I haven't watched it yet. I saw that House of the Dragon is coming back pretty soon. So I'm assuming that the Dragon cast will start back up again. And I just listened to today. In fact, I haven't finished it yet. The Wax Episodic started, Jason and Karen started the season 2 of Severance, their coverage of that show.
I have to catch up with Severance. I haven't watched the new season yet.
It's such a good show. In fact, I was telling Mark, I was telling you earlier, I was finishing watching NCIS, getting caught up on NCIS because that's what I can do to turn my brain off. Nothing against that show. It's just a procedural. But there's a joke that one of the characters says in there that's a Severance reference, where she says, "This place is more confusing than Lumen," and it's definitely a Severance reference right there. I thought was super cool. So that's it for podcast. Where else can listeners hear us, Mark?
Well, I could be heard here as always on Past the Pixels podcast. You hear me on the Kaiju Cast podcast. That is a cross collaborative right now with Podcast as our coverage of Monarch season 2 is going on. Adrenaline Cinema podcast. You can look forward to Frank Rodriguez and myself as we are covering The Wraith from 1986 with Charlie Sheen in it.
That's a great classic cult movie.
Yeah, we did that for fun this past weekend. And then there's some other stuff that's out there. Every once in a while I'll join on what's on tonight. Check them out too, because as a reference of something that we did cover, The Boys, if you recall in The Pit season 2, there's the woman who's terminally ill. She played Popclaw in The Boys.
Oh, okay.
So she was the one that is in season 2 that she's surrounded by her family, and she wanted to do home care and then died there. They wanted her to go home care, and just check that out. The actress is in there. And I was like, I remember her from somewhere. Oh, wow. That was Popclaw, the one that was crazy that killed that guy.
Yeah. Nice.
So check out that. Yeah. It could be heard on there. I'm looking forward to Dexter Resurrection too, because there's a lot of stuff coming up about that soon.
Yeah.
Now, and I know that was filming for a while too, so I wouldn't be surprised that comes out during the summer.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. Obviously, you can hear me right here on Panels to Pixels podcast. Also, I send voicemails to various other podcasts that our friends do. So you'll hear my voice pop up occasionally in a feedback section. You'll hear me guest host occasionally on some of our Pirate Core Entertainment podcasts, and occasionally on a podcast. I might even guest host over there.
Yeah,
but
same.
as always,
Yeah.
as always, you can check out all of our podcasts on the piratecoreentertainment.com. That is where you'll find links to all the podcasts that we do that Mark just mentioned: Panels to Pixels, What's On Tonight, Dinner with Mandy. Is that right? Dinner with Mandy.
Dinner for her. Dinner with her.
Dinner for her. Dinner for her. Yeah, dinner with her. Yeah. So check out all those podcasts, and Mark is continually adding to the repertoire of Pirate Core Entertainment. He's a Pirate Core Entertainment mogul, and he is adding to that podcast network continually. So watch out for that. And if you can give us a thumbs up, give us a ranking, give us a 5-star rating, we would love that as well.
Yeah, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it'd be greatly appreciated. For you to leave any feedback, you could go to our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/panels to pixels. We also have an Instagram at Panels to Pixels Podcast. What's on Instagram is also on Facebook and vice versa. We have a YouTube, just search for Panels to Pixels Podcast. That'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe, ring the bell, do all that good stuff. You can leave comments in there too, and we get them just the same. You can email us, panels2pixels1@gmail.com, a regular written out email. We'll read them on the next episode. Panels, 2 is spelled out T-O, pixels and the number 1@gmail.com. And if you feel the need that you don't want to write out your thoughts and you want to be part of the podcast in any way, because people could record themselves nowadays, and you could just send it as an attachment and we'll play
Absolutely.
it. And then, it's as if you're part of the podcast. So we'd like to hear your thoughts and your voice as well. So next episode of the podcast, we'll be covering Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 7. I don't know the title.
I don't have the titles in front of me either, so we'll have it when we cover it.
All right, cool. So that's about it for this particular episode of the podcast, and I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels Podcast. And we'll see you on the next panel. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night, all.